Alan Lichtman has rightfully predicted a gang of elections with his 13 keys for how the country will vote for president. Well, he got this one wrong, unfortunately. And I saw, friends of mine that were using his point as a means to predict the election. What many people missed was his keys, which we did in a separate video, and how flawed some of his assessment were of the 13 keys. He's kind of a raging liberal.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, and he let his biases influence how he judged his own test.
Yep.
And so his test wasn't wrong when we filled it out. It would actually
when we filled it out, we were like, the short-term economy is not good, long-term economy is not good.
Yeah. And
without scandal? I don't know about that.
Exactly.
Right? Non-charismatic opponent?
Yep.
I don't know about that.
So the cherry on top is that this man was streaming for almost 6 hours while the election was going on. So we're going to look at some chef's kiss, a few timestamps throughout from the very beginning to the very end. And you can kind of just watch his reaction in real time. Ready, Ruslan?
I am ready. All right, let's look at it. Go ahead.
We're just going to see how he opens here.
All right, let's see it. Let's see his energy.
Say the fate of our country hangs in the balance here. Democracy is precious, but it can be destroyed. And we're going to find out tonight. And what was a little bit encouraging, I don't give much credence to polls, but we did have some exit poll results, which showed democracy rising as a major issue among voters.
Okay.
Okay.
So he's kind of opening, democracy hangs in the balance.
Okay. All right.
Right around here, things are heating up.
All right.
And this is his son in the right. So him and his son are streaming together.
Listen, I props to him for streaming. Props to him for streaming with his son. I think that's fire.
Yeah.
I love it. I think at least, because again, when I looked at a little bit at their stuff, I was like, oh, not only is he misjudging the keys, I actually understand why he's misjudging the keys based on kind of the tone of some of his live streams. And I didn't even go that deep. That's why I knew, guy's kind of cap, you know? Go ahead. I'm excited to bring to you guys our first ever Bless God Summit happening March 27th, 28th, 29th in Southern California. The Beat's very own Alan Parr and Jen Parr, my guy John McCrae from the What Do You Meme YouTube channel, Preston Perry, Dr. Sean McDowell, Live Actions, Lila Rose, Trizzle Fitness, my pastor Jeff and his wife Erin Moores, as well as live performances from America's Got Talent winner Dustin Savella, Ryan Horton leading worship, Dirt Poor Robbins, and a special concert from John Keith and Miles Minnick. And listen, the goal of this conference is so that we can be the solution to all this craziness as we're coming out of a very tumultuous 2024. About a year ago, we did a 3-hour event where we brought in some of the same speakers, and here's some of the feedback from the people that attended that event.
One of the things that stood out to me was how you need to be secure in the Word of God and how reliable it is.
Making sure that God is in my personal ambition.
If you're somebody who is on the edge or on the fence of wondering if you should jump in or not, jump in.
Health of my body is connected to my spiritual health, and that I need to take care of it.
Be prepared to bring your notebook and be prepared to be reminded that you are made for more.
Go to blessgodsummit.com now to get your tickets, to apply for a scholarship, to sponsor someone going that needs to be there. And I can't wait to see you guys, hang out with you guys in person, March 27th, 28th, 29th, here, beautiful North County, San Diego, Carlsbad, California.
Don't forget, folks, we have the most advanced projection of anybody out there. CNN only has 105 to 27. We got 85 to 111. They got,
we're way ahead.
Decision Desk has 67 to 111, 71 to 101. Look at Lichtman Live is the place to be for the most up-to-date projections.
So they're feeling good.
Right?
They're feeling confident. We move along to here, and some of the stuff about Pennsylvania starts to come through.
7 points, right? He's now up 4 points. I don't get it. Why they think Trump's going to win Pennsylvania.
I'm not worried about Pennsylvania. I think Pennsylvania's looking good for Harris.
That aged like milk.
Wow, Pennsylvania's looking good for it. He must not remember how these things work and how the results come in.
Yeah.
Percentages, what are rural states versus, rural counties versus cities, urban counties, and how all of that works.
Yeah, so they're seeing New York or New York Times say that it might go to Trump, and they're like, I don't get it.
Too. But I'm saying the New York Times gives a slight edge to Trump, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, I wouldn't read into that too much.
The cope. Poor guy.
And so then we continue. We're getting pretty
Poor
far here.
dude.
This map
Oh,
is
no.
turning very, very red.
Oh no, poor guy. Could you imagine like developing? I just wish he would have said, if he would have acknowledged his bias while he was doing all these interviews, it would have saved him. You know, like it would have saved him. Like, oh, bro, you got it so wrong. It's like just acknowledge your bias. Hey, the 13 keys. These are my projections, but I can have a bias in this.
Yeah.
You guys go do the 13 keys for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
80% in Pennsylvania, and his lead grew.
It's very, very, very difficult.
Oh my goodness.
I don't get it.
Oh.
The only thing that could be happening is that we're wrong about this absentee voting thing. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. As well we could be.
Red everywhere, bro.
Just red everywhere.
Red everywhere but the cities.
So he saw that went to 80% reporting, and he's like, he reloaded it. And he's like, it's only going up. He's like freaking out. And then as the night progresses, this is kind of where Alan Lichtman lands the plane.
Oh no.
He could barely get through the campaign.
Defeated.
Poor guy.
Heard me say this 100 times. Democracy is precious, but like all precious things, it can be destroyed, and typically destroyed from within. And throughout the 21st century, democracy has been in decline everywhere around the world, and America has now fallen in step.
So somber.
So America has fallen in
never
step.
give up hope. Never stop striving. Never stop trying.
This man giving his own
Especially you
concession
young people.
speech. Man, I think there's a lesson in there, man.
Well, I think the lesson is share
I
your
just-
bias. Like share your bias. Like positioning yourself as an expert on something is fine.
Yeah.
But don't position yourself as an expert that does not have bias. That is genuinely being objective.
That is crazy. Yeah.
You know?
Oh, 100%.
That's the lesson is, hey, I'm going to give you guys my 13 keys, but just so you guys know, this is who I want to win.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe my view is tainted, right? And in that, I could get it wrong. So that's the misstep here.
I just also think it's like the worst part is like watching it happen, and then the liberal talking point this time around was like democracy is about to die. We've seen it around the country. And so it's like this man starts his live stream with that talking point. Democracy hangs in the balance tonight. Then democracy does the democracy thing. And then it's like, we just saw the rest of the world fall in line.
If democracy chose fascism,
Yeah.
what does that tell you about democracy? Maybe, just maybe,
It's not fascist.
it's not fascism,
Oh, man.
right?
What a great logical conclusion.
Or
Yeah.
maybe the democracy you've been fighting for is actually not worth fighting for if the conclusion of it is to choose fascism. You got one or two options, dog.
Yeah.
Maybe it ain't fascism, or maybe this is where democracy gets us, and it's not really worth fighting for the way you thought it was worth fighting for.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think it's just a very goofy take to be like, I'm objective and I don't, you know?
Now the flip side of this, the right side of this, which me and Chris were talking, I was like, the reason I'm really happy that Trump won, just from like a social, like everyday perspective, is that like I'm also kind of tired of the right being super like, man, this election's so rigged, like it's gonna be so bad,
So gross, so
And
annoying.
dude, it's so bad. And I'm like, and I know if Kamala got in, it'd be another 4 years of being like, see, there's no way she was popular or whatever. And that happening is like kind of puts that to rest.
The democracy is still here in that it was, the system worked. Like the system worked. Here's the issue about 2020. Here's the issue about 2020. Hunter laptop, fair.
Yep.
That's
totally.
a fair thing. Mail-in ballots and ballot harvesting, fair critique.
Yeah.
Dominion voting system rigged where massive votes were flipped. Now you've detached yourself from reality,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that's the part is like, hey, maybe the system works.
Yeah.
Maybe the checks and balances work. Maybe our founding fathers were on to something.
Yeah.
And in that's good. Like that's a good thing.
And that's where Joe Rogan lands, which is my whole point with like, oh, it's nice to see the right have to admit this.
So turns out voting works.
Hello.
It's real. As much as we thought they had it rigged, as much as we thought there was shenanigans and bullshit, and it's just a puppet show, and there's no way anybody could buck the system. Turns out voting is still real. At least partially.
Where was all of the gajillion ballots being submitted last minute at these spots? Where was all this time?
Yeah.
Where was all this stuff? Where Pennsylvania has Shapiro as their governor. Shapiro, right? I think he's the governor of Pennsylvania, but 90% sure he's the governor. Shapiro should have really been her vice president choice, but people were saying she didn't have the stability and the confidence to put someone more charismatic in her cabinet.
So she got kind of like a...
Yeah, and they said because he was Jewish, that was also an issue because of the whole Israel thing, right? But that was a Democratic governor. So if there was ever a time to steal a state,
yeah,
it would have been now.
Yeah.
Yet oddly enough, the democracy worked. The thing held up. The system held up.
Yeah.
But only when Trump wins.
And that's that's kind of my point, is that like they both scream democracy is dying, right?
Yep.
The last election, democracy is dead.
Yeah.
Stop the steal. And then this time is like, democracy is dead.
Yep.
Trump isn't. It's like, okay, that's super annoying,
Yep.
but you guys can complain about that for 4 years.
Yep.
I'm just glad that the right can't complain about it anymore for 4 years.
I'm glad that sometimes democracy works and it gets us into where we don't want. Sometimes you get what you don't want.
Yes.
In a democracy. That's how it works. You know what I mean? Now, people will get technical and be like,
democracy is not electoral college.
It's a republic. It's a democratic republic, blah, 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 blah. Listen, at the end of the day, yes, there's an electoral college. Yes, the states are trying to rebalance power so smaller states still have a voice. Like all of that is fine. All of that is fine. But the reality is people vote and their vote influences who becomes president. We don't got an oligarchy. We don't got a theocracy. We don't got a monarchy. Like miss me with the right? Like so there are checks and balances. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.